Okay, hear me out. How about I make a game, but I make it in 2 hours because I like to get myself tortured? Okay, I was totally clueless. I have no idea what I'm doing with my life right now, by the way. So I decided to make this game, and I just wanted to make it in 2 hours because recently all of these people have been uploading their devlogs, their game system, and they've been taking these challenges. And usually they say that they're really dumb and blah blah blah, but in the end, they actually made up a really cool game. But you see, what's the difference between them and me is that they actually claim to be dumb, but they're really, really smart and they really come up with something that is really amazing. But for me, in my case, I'm really dumb. No, seriously, I'm just so fucking dumb. So I gave myself a torture challenge that I have to make it 2 hours. In 2 hours, I have to make a fully playable game. So to do this, I first off collected some ideas because I just couldn't run around aimlessly. So 2D pixel art, jump system, death, and level end. That's all I wanted to do for this level because that's all. So I booted up a new project in Unity, and of course I was using Unity's universal render pipeline and the default 2D template for Unity, and I was left with a completely empty scene apart from the fact that there was a universal render pipeline set on the graphics tier. And yeah, I'm really bad at Unity, so and I also set up a really basic player controller which was found on the Bracky's video because I'm just really dumb. I created some input system for it so it can grab in the input from my mouse control, which I used. It's just simple as that. I did nothing more than that. And I also created a prefab variant which I used previously on my game called That Rain That Day, which I'm working on, by the way, and I uploaded the video on my channel. So I started off with making some really default shapes and got the player controller working. Okay, that was not supposed to happen, by the way. Okay, after a few bits, I was able to make it work. Yes, this tiny little tiny box. I didn't have any sprites for the moment, so I had head on to my browser into this website, really cool website for making pixel art. It's pretty simple. So I created up a palette with 16 by 16 pixels, I guess. I don't know, 16, 14 by 14. Okay, never mind. And I started off by creating some really basic pixel art characters. I wanted to keep the look as simple as possible without putting extra effort because I was running really short on time. So I did my best creating off some assets. I mean, some 2D sprites for the game. Okay, by the way, my English is just literally fucked, and I don't know what I'm saying. I just don't know why I'm even doing my life. So I'm just sorry. I'm just really sorry. Please don't criticize me. Okay, after creating some really basic animations and different kinds of sprite for me to for the character, I imported them into Unity and they were perfectly ready. I just created an idle and a walk animation and I just literally swapped it off with the player default sprite and oh yeah, I forgot, and everything was perfectly fine. I forgot my computer is literally a trash, so I'm really sorry about the recording quality, and I'm editing with the phone because I don't know how to edit with a PC. And then I just really created some really trashy animations, just a walking animation, an idle animation where his hair just moves a little bit. This is the best I can do. I just don't know. Then I started off by implementing some of these animations inside of the code, so when I walk, the animation shifts. So this was pretty easy doing, just I had to create a reference for the animation and the animator, and to be able to control the animation float by creating a default, like a value inside of the animation, which is really simple, but for me it's gonna be really hard. Okay, that was kind of trashy way to explain it. So what I did was create a float inside of the animator and decided to control with the code to be able to shift between animations. Well, once everything was set up, the animations were set up, I needed more sprites to use. So I started off by creating some random sprites inside of the pixel art editor. Now, of course, I'm not the best at pixel art, so I just did my best to create some of these basic sprites, like the props and the platforms. So yeah. After creating all the sprites, I decided to take a little break so I can just ease off my mind, and then meanwhile I decided to make some really minor adjustments to the level. Now, except for that boring plain white old cube, we have a orange plain cube as like our floor for the game, and I also created some other sprites for like the walls and other options like other things, and I also coded some um, collider. I added some colliders and also made this really cool particle effect that emits from whenever you just cross the paper. It's just kind of like, you know, it's an office and you're just literally uh, bouncing all the papers off in the air. It's just like that. I think the particle system was the best thing I could have come up in this project. And then I also started off by creating some more props for the scene because it was looking really blonde and there was literally nothing in it. So I decided to go ahead and create some of the prefabs and just set things up and give them some colliders and rigid bodies just in case. Okay, so I added some rigid body colliders and some box colliders onto the objects of the level to make it much better. But there was still this problem where you would fall off the world and just go into the nothingness. But for now, I was about to focus on my favorite part of URP, 2D lights. Now 2D lights are a different thing. They're literally amazing. So I added, like, I'm just going to show you how this works. So as you can see, I have a global light in my scene and it was really amazing. I was able to control how the scene would look, but I really wanted my scene to look bright. So I started out by creating a really simple light, which was a point light or a freeform light. If we go into the 2D, we got some experimental lights, and this is a freeform light. Or I don't know how to pronounce this. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm just really sorry. Anyway, this light allows you to like create light just the way you want it to. You can create light as differently as you want it. I just wanted to like make it look like just a god ray coming from outside. I don't know where is it even coming from. Like, what the hell is that even coming from inside of your office? I just don't know, but I just know that it looked cool, so I decided to add it inside of the game anyway. And that just gets started. And I started off by creating some more lights and adding it to the scene just to make it look a bit better. Okay, it was time to add in some post-processing. Now, post-processing is basically like makeup. It just takes something like me that is fairly ugly and just makes it so you can just makes it a little better to look at. So first you need to add in the main camera post-processing option in the main camera, and then just create a global volume, which is pretty easy when it comes to your university render pipeline. And now just that I have created a post-processing volume. Previously I've created some too, and just yeah. So yeah, now of course the post-processing isn't looking very nice, but we can of course adjust that just the way we want it to. There are of course numerous multiple and like lots of effects you can do, but for me I'm just gonna stick up with some of these basic settings. I'm just gonna adjust it a little bit. Now I think I actually have achieved some result that I'm pretty much satisfied with. I think this should be doing it. This should be good enough. So yeah, okay. Now once that was done, I directly headed on to the UI editing because my level was almost done and it was time to make a depth and like a load system for, you know, the level end, the load level and stuff like that. So I decided to create a script that was going to handle the level end system, and just copied in basic scene management and just copied in the component that was going to like literally take the current build index of your scene and just add a 1 into it whenever I just click on the button. So I hit on to and created like a start screen or something like that. You can call it a start screen. I added a button and added the script to an object. I literally dragged and dropped the object inside of my buttons click on click event, which is the Unity's UI system handled by completely Unity. It's a really like a pretty basic handy feature that comes in with Unity. And I just literally added in the function and the load level, and I then duplicated the button. And I forgot to change in the but they were both like the play button. Well, never mind. It was time to create in the level end system. I simply created like a void on trigger into 2D, which is like a function that just reads whenever something collides with that thing, like gets inside the trigger of the thing, it just literally starts a function. But for me, I wasn't that smart to like literally, I could have just literally used the player tag in order to completely just make it so it just works a bit better, but I literally hard coded it, so yeah, don't blame me. So I added that in the end of the level, so whenever you hit just go ahead and play the game, go ahead and just literally collide with it. It's just gonna take you to another empty scene, which is the end scene, and I started off working with it. But before that, I just added some little bit details to the level, and Then I worked on with the ending screen. I also added in like a button that was gonna take you literally back to the home screen. I also added in some functions that was gonna allow you to like restart and quit application. And once that was done, I was pretty much satisfied with whatever I just made. And in just like 2 hours or so, it wasn't even complete 2 hours, I literally exported the game. Oh, I forgot to change the button to quit to play. Okay, I'm gonna do it later. So the final result was better. I created 2 levels. In this video I haven't actually recorded the 2 second level because I was unable to reach there and I was literally bored and I had no idea why I made this video. I know no one is gonna watch it anyway, but I'll be uploading this game onto itch, and if someone wanna play it, you can just get it from the description. The game isn't ready yet. I just added 2 levels and this was just like a test to, this game was literally made in 2 hours, so you can't really expect a lot from me. So yeah, anyway, if you think that my content was like worth your time, and if you support my content, I will definitely improve my video quality. Until then, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content.